But what I often see is that schools have capacity, but they don't have practice. Their practice isn't there. If I were to look at to put the cost in on your phone systems, what CIS costs, what your email system, what IC costs, what FST costs, what it costs to run your PTAs and your websites, what kind of figure would you put on that? Just if you had to put a figure on that, dollars. If you had to put a figure on it. 50,000? Let's say 50K just to be conservative. Yeah, to run it. That's a lot of resources invested in communication. A lot of resources. Parent portal alone is 32,000. I don't know what IC is. Comes from the district, but the district paid for it. The district paid for it. You can believe they took that out of some budgetary dollars. So I'm saying this is a lot, not to mention all the manpower that comes into that to talk. And what I see as we do a budget count on this, what I see is that the capacity is there to communicate, but the practice hasn't been coordinated. And as the word that you use, that I often use, it just has not been created. A system has not been put behind it. I mean, a system that says, teachers, you will upload the information. And you will do it every Friday or whatever, whatever it's got to be. I expect it and I will inspect it. We'll be checking to see if you've uploaded the information. Now, in real life, what's the kickback behind that from staff? The computer's not working. Yeah. And the time. Yeah. 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 I got other duties. When I'm going to have time to do that. Now, the response to that is, the only way you really can help a staff understand the importance of that parent communication is they've really got to embrace that there's a collaborative relationship and a connected relationship between parental involvement and performance. You really want me to help you get to carry that load? Then we got to get some parents involved in this process. How many, when I'm doing PDs and I'm talking with staff, how many of you all are just tired of the whole educational process? Are overworked, overloaded, almost burnt out? And if you all know the data in teacher burnout. If a teacher goes past 5 years, then they pretty good. Anybody here got more than 5 years? Who's under 5 years? I'm praying for you all. Burnout is serious before 5 years. So I say that particularly for the new ones, if you really want help from carrying that load, then we've got to get parents involved. The best way to get parents involved is to train them how to be involved. And one of the best ways to train them is to first start talking with them.
It's kind of ironic. I don't know if it's ironic or what's the right word for it, but we have been conditioned to believe that we have to do in spite of the parents. That's the whole
There it is.
You don't have any control over that. That's over there.
Yeah.
That's outside the school. When they come
Yeah.
in, what can you do?
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
worry about the parents. That's not your responsibility. You can't make them.
Yeah.
That's been like what has been indoctrinated and
Yeah.
preached to us for so long.
Yeah.
Quit worrying about what they're doing over there. Do what you can do in here, inside. And this is a whole different thing about not having to care, because we've been conditioned to carry that load.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this
Yeah.
is my 18th year in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I have been conditioned to believe for the longest time, that no matter what they do, you still are accountable for this. No matter what happens over there, you're still accountable for the whole thing. So this is something like a totally different way of looking at it. I mean, we've been saying get the parents involved, but then it said, well, if they don't, you still.
Yeah. Well, here's the reality of that, and I'm glad you brought that out. The reality of it is that conversation is still real. However, there's got to be a second part to that conversation. It can't be you are responsible, period. It's got to be, yes, you still are responsible. However, we've got to get parents to be involved to lighten the load so that you can get back to doing what you really love, and that is what? Teaching. That's what you really get paid for. Not saying that you don't do the social things, but what you really get compensated for, what really gets you, is when you throw a math concept out there, a reading concept, and the light bulb comes on, and you're like, man, he finally gets it. That's what you get paid for, and that's what you get excited for. So the argument is still the same and it's not going to change. However, has got to be added to that sentence. However, parents have got to be held accountable and share the load for this. And until, so what I'm saying in staff, when I'm developing this and I'm working with staff, I'm saying, look, she's expected you to go online and upload the data. Your school leader has inspected it and you haven't done it. You can't simultaneously say that you want parents involved. You can't tell me that I want parents involved. They got to be involved because there's too much. How can they give me these kids and don't expect me to? I don't know how you're going to. You can't have that argument and then you won't work this program out to get them involved. And here's the thing. Any new parental involvement program is an educational process which takes about 2 cycles. There's a group of us consultants that we just do turnaround schools in the charter school movement, where schools that are failing, we come in and we help the schools turn around. True turnaround specialists know that in order really to turn around a school, you need at least 3 years. Now, you can start showing direction kind of soon, but if you really want to turn it around so the data is right, you need 3 years. To turn and train parents around, you've got to be able to hold them so that they don't move. You don't get a whole new host of kids every year. The cohort needs to be there with you how many years? 2, 3 years? 3 years. What we're saying to parents is, look, you put your baby in my classroom for 3 years, oh, he'll learn. So I need him here 3 years. Parents have to be with you and train systematically for sometimes 1, 2, 3 years before they get it. But it does need to be a systematic approach. The first approach starts with having a communication system in place. And I have not met many schools that did not have the capacity. We've spent the money, but I have not been to a parent-teacher conference yet. I have not been to a parent workshop that I've conducted yet where I've gotten more than 30 parents. And that's a good day. I mean, all love to what you all are doing here. But I knew coming here that I would get a faithful few. Because I understand that parental involvement is still on the fringes. Because we're still making the connection between what they do and what happens in the classroom so that your numbers look good. But the connection is being made now because the competition is strong, mandates are coming down the pipe. So the communication starts there. I'm going to just tease a little bit with parental development, but the next 2 are part of the second piece. Any questions right here on communication before I move on? About just talking with them. Because the next thing in communication, just real quick, I haven't talked about is once the schools get it right, capacity and practice going this way, we got to talk about what? Talking with your parents coming this way. Telephone numbers change what? let me share with you a technique that we do to capture parents. The funniest thing, my baby is probably one of my most prized possessions. I mean, I probably hurt somebody over my son. I mean, that's my boy. I mean, so when I deposit him somewhere, I'm serious about it. So if you call me and say, Mr. Johnson, I need your telephone number just so that we can contact you if something happens, I ain't playing no games. I want you to have my cell. I want you to have my work number. I want you to have my Twitter. I want you to have any other way you got to call me and contact me about my son. I need you to have it. But it baffles me when I'm on the phone with someone and I'm saying, we just need your, well, let me give you this number. What are you talking about? Give me every single number you got. I'm not going to be calling you just to say how you doing. I mean, I'm calling you about your baby. So it baffles me when parents do this. But we had to come up with kind of tricks and schemes to kind of get them. So here's what we do. Let's just say, once again, we're working with that parent portal. And what happens in most districts is that you have to have, parents are assigned an access code to get to that parent portal. And the access code gets them to different levels. Unless you have an administrative level access, you can only see certain things. So that parent portal, again, it's got information there. Parents aren't too crazy about going right there at first, so what we have to do is train them to get there. So here's one of the tricks. I'll give you to this free. Here's one of the tricks. What we do is bounce information to them. We bounce information and links to their email address. Telephones may get disconnected, numbers may change, but folk love their email addresses, especially if it's a vanity email, you know, sweet chocolate at. You know, I ain't changing that one. I mean, you can catch me at sweet chocolate. You know, that's where I am. So we bounce information to their email that links them to the parent portal.